Hey guys, Wub Zombie here. Welcome to episode 5 of my Project Zomboid Conquering Louisville series. If you're new here, or if this is your first exposure to the series, I've organized all the episodes so far into this playlist. I understand if you would prefer not to watch an hour plus of videos just to be caught up on the lore. Alternatively, allow me to present a too long didn't watch in 60 seconds or less. I hope you enjoy the video, and hopefully the rest of the series. We woke up in a dark, yet eerily familiar place. Fred could see himself here, living comfortably, had the world not been scourged by this ruthless plague. But it can be dangerous to reminisce too much about the past. Let's go get some fresh air. We don't have the time or luxury to be sulking around anyway. The city needs us strong, now more than ever before. This van looks like it would be a nice addition to our collection. Poor guy must have broken his legs. Let's put him out of his misery. Looks like we've got some company. That was easy enough. Let's get this van hitched up. I've collected enough vehicles at this point that the front of my base resembles a disorganized used car lot. Eventually, I want to move all of these into the garage, but for now, I just need to make some room.
Keep going, you're good, and stop.
All of this ruckus pulled in a handful of curious zombies into the driveway. This place was a total mess, so we reserved the rest of our day for unloading, organizing, and cleaning up. After storing our supplies in the exterior garage, we shifted focus towards some interior design. Nature had claimed enough of our house that it prevented me from seeing my new wall art, motivating me to do some housekeeping. The kitchen is a good start. Now we can finish the job. A clean home is a clean mind. I polished off a long day's work with a pot of leftover stew, making sure to place the empty pot back outside, and started reading Carpentry Volume 3 before bed. After the previous night's reading, I was determined to finish the carpentry textbook. A few hours of intense focus helped us make good progress, but instead of reading all the way through, I continued our pursuit of knowledge by binge-watching episodes of Woodcraft, which helped us achieve level 6 carpentry incredibly fast. My hunger for knowledge still wasn't satiated, so I cracked open an intermediate mechanics textbook and only put it down once my eyes felt too heavy to keep open. Our hunger for knowledge was so intense yesterday that we didn't eat anything, so I made sure to fuel up first thing this morning. Then we finished that same mechanics textbook after breakfast, and followed up with another session of VHS and chill. After all that learning, we yearned for the great outdoors. Large trees have claimed my backyard from years of unimpeded growth, so my goal for today was to clear most of them out and restore my waterfront view.
We're gonna have to go right to ludicrous speed.
Now that's what I call the tornado method for clearing trees off your property. I ripped off the clothes from a handful of corpses that were lying around my property so I can make sheet ropes and organize all of the logs that I spent all afternoon chopping down. I started a small collection along the wall here until running out of sheet ropes shortly after, so I shifted focus towards crafting 3 new rain collectors, one here to act as a secondary source of filtered water, and 2 more near my crops. After that was finished, I went inside for a minute to eat dinner and rest before going back outside to dig more furrows for future crops. Outdoor lighting would definitely go a long way out here. Fred's beard was so thick it started bursting through his ski mask, so grooming that sucker was the first to-do of the day. That's more like it. We weren't satisfied with the worms we collected, so we went back outside to dig more furrows. Let's see if those extra worms will help us out.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Clearly, I didn't collect enough worms. Let's go dig up some more.
Round 2, fight.
Look at this dude.
I suppose beggars can't be choosers, but at least now we've got a pretty big farm to work with. This propane gas furnace looked interesting, so I gathered the necessary materials and constructed it next to my garage.
I provide the people of this community with propane and propane accessories.
Apparently you can use scrap metal on the furnace as a base material to craft other pieces of metal. Neat. We had a restless night and were awake incredibly early because of it. Instead of popping a sleeping pill and going back to sleep, I took advantage of a peaceful morning and made progress on some more housework. My weapons storage room had a capacity crisis, so I used some metal I salvaged from hollowing out the apartments to make an upgrade. While my new containers are lacking in aesthetics, they definitely make up for it in their utility.
Holy, look at all this.
Storage. My secondary storage closet was also in dire need of an upgrade. One last crate for extra food storage. My van has taken a beating, so I made repairs to the hood and to the trunk. After a busy morning, I went to the kitchen for a quick lunch. It's been 4 days since we last left the base, and after checking Fred's zombie kill count, I had an idea of how to spend the rest of the day. Our destination is Louisville State Library, being just a short drive away. Although we already own a decent collection of books, there's enough missing to where I can no longer gain XP boosts on key skills. I don't want to visit the downtown public library again, for obvious reasons. However, a lot has changed since my last library visit, and today, I woke up and chose violence.
Here's Johnny.
Well, that was fun. After dusting myself off, I equipped my secondary looting bag and entered the abandoned library. Before I could start scavenging for books, I had to act like the school bully and teach these dorks a lesson. Now we can freely check out as many books as we need.
Knowledge.
We grabbed enough books that we probably won't ever need to come back here, but I'll mark it on the map just in case I forgot something. The drive back home was a dark and treacherous one, as I avoided numerous hordes in the street.
Watch out, watch out, watch out!
Thankfully, we still made it home in one piece. We began the next day by diving deep into a good book, Carpentry Volume 4. I stepped outside for a moment to rest my eyes and considered going out for an adventure, but one look at the weather made me reconsider.
No, I don't really feel like it.
Instead, I got comfortable and devoted myself to reading the entire carpentry textbook cover to cover. Once finished, I went out back to my dock and, to the surprise of nobody, I caught nothing. Before bed, I crafted 2 fishing nets to attach on the sides of my dock. I have a good feeling these are what I've been missing from my fishing all along. We slept in and enjoyed a hearty breakfast that would hold us over for the rest of the day. Today's agenda had an important task and we needed to fuel up. Wandering hordes have made the roads parallel to my base increasingly dangerous. My plan? Arm up and use my van to lure as many zombies as I can away from the base and towards the gas station. Let's get to work. After finishing today's zombie cleanup job, I topped off the van and gathered ripped sheets and thread for tailoring before driving back home. I checked my fishing nets first thing in the morning and gathered some little bait fish. Maybe these will work better as bait than worms. Then it was back to more work around the base. I thought of an idea to close off my driveway with tall metal fences, but I can't get started on that without level 5 metalworking. I remember spotting a huge car wreck at this intersection that I can dismantle for metalworking materials and XP. That adventure will have to wait until we finish some things here at home. First, I built out the wooden portion of my future front gate. After that, I overheard a favorable weather report on the radio, prompting me to plant potatoes and strawberries in anticipation for rainfall. Finally, our day concluded by getting a head start on Metalwork Volume 3. I began the next morning by stuffing my face with candy like a teenager whose parents left home alone. Then, I finished reading that metalworking textbook, taking full advantage of our sugar high. Following that up with an entire afternoon's worth of spearfishing. With the requisite knowledge and a full day ahead of us, we're ready to tackle our next big objective: clear that huge car wreck. We're armed to the teeth, laser focused, and eager to send every zombie in the area back to hell. I sure worked up quite the appetite from all of this zombie killing. Let's go visit a nearby gas station and grab a snack. After all that carnage in the car wreck, I'd be surprised if we need to fight any more zombies. Well, there goes having a peaceful lunch. Okay, now we can grab some food and get out of here. Hey Fred, what are you doing, man? That's not food.
Yeah, boy.
We still have some daylight left, so why not dismantle a couple cars before heading back home? As the sun began to set, we packed up the rest of the salvaged metal before driving back to base for the night. We collected a good chunk of metal from just a few scrapped cars, which should hold us over for a little while. I dedicated the next few days towards more base building and essential prep work.
Water would be nice.
It hasn't rained in a while, so I watered my crops first thing in the morning to make sure they don't get too thirsty. Then, I cracked open some of my canned food and meal prepped 4 pots of stew for me to eat throughout the days ahead.
Yummy.
After finishing up in the kitchen, I studied Mechanics Volume 3 for a handful of hours before concluding the day by spearfishing into the night. The next morning was more of the same, except we traded out the spear for a fishing rod, which not only helped us catch some junk, but also another fishing rod. I took a small break from fishing to build a metal workbench in the garage, only to go back and end the day right where it began. Gaining that second fishing level must have really made the difference, because this morning I caught the final boss of fish.
Damn, boy, he's thick! Boy, that's a thick-ass boy!
My celebration was short-lived because I was ambushed shortly after.
No.
That jump scare was the only motivation I needed to finally make some improvements on this dock. First, I stored my thick pike in my chest freezer before repairing my broken wall. Then, I extended my dock further out into the river and expanded the surface another tile wide. As icing on the cake, I added an outdoor storage crate here for all my fishing supplies. I went to the garage and opened a couple supply boxes. You could say that Christmas came early this year. After a few days at home, I was eager for something different, so I set my sights towards finishing the job back at the car wreck. I packed my gear into the van, brought along a spare propane tank, and planned to dedicate my entire day to finishing my prior goal of level 5 metalworking. We did fine work of clearing out the surrounding zombies, which gave us the space to freely dismantle as many cars as my propane quantity would allow, and only being interrupted by a couple wanderers. I had used up all the propane around mid-afternoon, signaling that it was time to return home for more. With limited daylight at our disposal and being so close to leveling up, I chose to tear apart my neighbor's exterior fence in favor of trekking back to the car wreck. Now let's grab what we need and work on finishing our own exterior fence. All that's left are the finishing touches, but since I don't have nearly enough door handles and hinges required to build a large door, I'll plan to collect those first thing tomorrow. After a comfortable night's sleep, and with the sun shining bright on a beautiful morning, I drove a short distance to my next door neighbor's home. Upon my arrival, I looted the kitchen and ended the poor bastard hiding in the closet before getting straight to work scavenging for door parts. On to the next house. I didn't leave a single door left standing. Now let's collect all the knobs and hinges we left behind and head back home. Upon my arrival, I caught the attention from some of the local ghouls who were not happy with my desire to fortify my home. Little did I know that more intruders were vandalizing my property while I was away, seemingly out for revenge. Since my homeowner's insurance policy doesn't agree that damage from zombies is an act of God, I'm personally responsible for these repairs. After all that, I was so ready to put the finishing touches on my exterior wall, until I encountered a slight problem. My incompetence has no limits. Dismantling these fresh metal fences was painful, but it had to be done. And to add insult to injury, I was assaulted by the neighborhood HOA under the cover of moonlight. A man can't even build a damn fence on his own property without being harassed. Home improvement isn't my strong suit, but I'm just glad to have completed my first project. We've come a long way since arriving here just a short month ago. Our once abandoned, dilapidated base is now a comfortable compound worth fighting and surviving for.